All right, all right, all right. Good evening, and once again, welcome to Afric 24. I hope you can all hear me loud and clear. Good evening, listeners. Good evening, wherever you are. And once again, this is Mr. Mzalendo, and we are here just to analyze for you what we see in the political scene, what might be interest to you. You can come and, of course, share your views. If you've not subscribed to Afric 24, make sure that you do subscribe to Afric 24. So that you can be getting all these political updates and analysis and news as they break throughout the country. A lot has happened in the last 24 hours. There's been so much political movement, and here we only give our view of what we find necessary for you to dissect out there, and also be part of this political discussion that is going on. Now, without further ado, let us look at one explosive interview that has happened in the last 24 hours. Winnie Odinga had an interview with Yvonne Okwaro on Citizen, and I think that interview gave us a lot of insight on what to expect from this other faction of Winnie, Sifuna, and the rest, the people who are giving a different voice, and she calls it the voice of the people. I will sneak in courtesy of Citizen TV to see what really transpired in that captivating interview by Citizen. And I found it very, very interesting. I don't know whether you guys at home watched it, but it was a very, very informative kind of interview. It gave us the insight into the Odinga family, and of course, Yvonne Okwaro really tried to press Winnie very, very hard to in some questions, and I felt that. Yes, she had no obligation to answer all of them. Of course, Winnie, being the who she is, kichwa ngumu kama kawaida. So she she didn't answer everything that Yvonne Okwaro, and I think many questions were left unanswered or hanging up there. And tonight we are not here to defend anyone. We are not here to attack anyone as usual, and we are certainly not here to worship any political faction. If you are a political worshipper that you worship one term, you worship the two term, or you are in the center, no term at all, then this is the place for you so that you can make the right decisions as we move forward in this political space that is moving very, very, very fast. Now, on Afrique tonight, we are here to ask a hard question, and but not necessarily the questions the Orange Democratic Movement really wants to address. Now, Orange Democratic Movement renewing itself or managing its affairs, because people out there feel that the Orange Democratic, the D stands for democracy, but some people have added an R. I've added that the D stands for a decline, that the Orange Democratic Movement is in a decline. Do you really feel that it is in a decline? Today, Winnie answered all those questions. Uh, the Orange Democratic Party is vibrant and ready to field a candidate in 2027. That is according to what I analyzed from the interview with Okwaro. And at the center of of that question sits one name that has unsettled the room, Winnie Odinga, not because she shouted, but not because she insulted anyone, but because she spoke calmly, clearly, and without asking for permission from anyone. Our interview with Ivona Kwaro did not explode because of any kind of drama. It exploded because it's ODM has avoided some of these questions for a long time. Tensions between legacy and renewal, between those who want to control and the growth between the old loyalty, things like that have been a problem within the Orange Democratic Movement. Their refusal to acknowledge that the young people have got a voice within the party that they want to exercise. And yes, there are young people who want to follow this other generation, but there are young people who are also saying, hey, wait a minute. This is a big party. This is a party that has been there for 20 years with a following of over 8 million people. Why can't it field a presidential candidate? There are voices out there saying, hey, we can still fill up a presidential candidate. Yeah, ODM was born as a reform movement, a party of resistance, a party that represents the people, and the party of courage, but not somehow along the way reform became, they become so comfortable. They are no longer talking about the issues that are affecting the people. They are no longer talking about the cost of living. They are no longer talking about what the government should do for its people. So it is no longer an alternative government. And they have resigned to their fate and said that, okay, fine, we are joining government, so the rest can occupy the space that we used to occupy. I think many will not board. Many will not accompany that kind of brigade. Some will be left behind to continue soldiering on and to believe on the visions of Raila Odinga and the vision of the Orange Democratic Party. And the silence that you see in the party is it's quite noticeable, especially when you hear voices like the voice of the daughter of the late Raila Odinga begin to ask the uncomfortable questions. Then this issue of Linda Ground enters the conversation. Yeah, unalinda ground. Who is invading this ground? The ground ni ya nini unalinda? Ground unalinda na hauko kwa ballot in 2027, unalinda ground ya nini? So what are you unalinda nini? So we are told Linda Ground is about reconnecting with the grassroots, but many are asking, is it about listening to the ground, listening to what the people are saying, or preparing the ground for decisions that have already been made? Because real listening is the other way around. Is it that the power that within the party is being disrupted? Is it that your seats are being taken away by a new entrance? Is it that you are uncomfortable? Unalinda nini? Is it that you are facing some kind of rebellion? I don't see any unalinda ground. There's no opposition invading any of the Orange Democratic strongholds. I don't see anybody invading in Omabay, whatever, Kisi, Kilifi, and all that. And it's a bit early, as said in this interview, but we'll listen to a bit of it. So, who is trying to really disrupt power within the party? Yeah. Now, can the Orange Democratic Movement create room for different ideas or different people? Can it, or is it still built on loyalty and all that kind of crap that we used to listen? Infidelity, I don't know what, all that kind of nonsense that has produced nothing. So, I mean, there is some things that we need to interrogate very, very carefully and see what is happening in the political arena of the Orange Democratic Movement. I speak with authority because I am a life member of the Orange Democratic Movement, and I think I've got a say and a voice to this party, nimechangia, and that where Winnie Odinga becomes more than just Raila's daughter. She becomes the true voice of the young people within the party. So let us look at just a member of the Orange Democratic Movement. And for those who have been doubting that who you Winnie, is he a member of ODM? Of course, she is a life member of ODM. She says it in that interview that, me, I've been a life member of ODM ever since. And I could not have been elected in Yala if I was not a life member of ODM. So kama ni hizo ni rumors, eh? So treat all those things people are saying out there as rumors. So now another question somebody is asking is that is ODM ready for transitional change? Or they are merely speaking? No, ODM is not ready for anything. ODM is not ready to take power. That one is a fact. It is not ready. It is not organized to take any kind of political power right now. They need to put their house in order, and maybe what we are seeing is that they are angling the UDA support wing on the other side, so that in 2032 they can make a bid and say that we supported you in 2027, so nyinyi pia mtunge mkono. Now who are called the young leaders. The young leaders are not very, very silent. We have seen the other wing that supports the broad-based government, led by Kasamuel, also very, very, very vocal. It's like something that is really, really disturbing. There is no dialogue. There is threats and intimidation. If you don't do this, we kick you out. If you don't do so, democracy, is it really thriving within the party? But let us wait for the NDC that is coming very, very soon and see what the party will decide. Yeah. Now, on Winnie Odinga is not part of the crisis in ODM. She's a mirror. She's a mirror of what is happening within the party. So when we listen to this interview, just know that whatever she's saying is that she's representing the voices of many people who cannot speak out or who cannot have the platform to be heard. And I think it's a good thing. It is healthy. It might be uncomfortable for you, but I feel the discomfort within this generation. This generation that has refused to worship leadership, then it's a good thing for the future of politics of the party. Very, very good and very, very healthy debate happening in the Orange Democratic Movement. And I want you guys to encourage this. And there is no danger. There is no danger. There is just renewal of energy that people like Sifuna, people like Hamisi, people like Winnie are bringing in. Perhaps some people will see it as irrelevant, but I see it as the push as a renewed confidence that ODM can indeed stand in its own. ODM has got people who actually listen to what other silent voices or whether it is minority or majority on the ground, are saying they need a chance or a platform to be heard. Yeah, they need a platform to be heard. So that is the future. And tonight on Africa, we ask. We are asking, can ODM survive without reforming itself? Can it really survive without reforming itself? Can it carry the two-term narrative without with the moral clarity? Can it claim that it represents the people with while fearing their the voices of people who don't agree with them, like Sifuna? They fear that voice. Can they find a way that they can work together without fearing people like Winnie, fearing people like James Orengo? What is the fear? Is ODM ready for dialogue, the real dialogue that that they need to have? And tonight I will play for you some of the pieces of and the comments by Winnie Odinga during this explosive interview by Yvonne Okwaro. As soon as my producer is ready with it, and I quickly happen so that you can listen to it, so that you be part of this conversation. I can see so many people watching us from Africa X page. Thank you guys very much. Make sure that you've subscribed to Africa 24, and this is where the real conversation begins. I'll play for you that interview in case you missed it. It was very, very interesting. It was very, very interesting. I can see Alexi Linda Ground, mko sawa? Naona mko sawa na kulinda ground. Yeah. Nyinyi lindeni ground. Kuna watu wanalinda ground hapo mbaya sana. Let me add this to the screen so that I play for it for you.
Na wale wanasema ati sijui baba aliwaambia sijui nini ati. Hiyo ni kikosa adabu. Nyamazeni bwana. Hiyo ni kikosa adabu. Tulieni bana. Everything baba alikuwa anasema mbele ya watu wake.
So tell us about this. Baba did not say he left us in government. What did you mean by that?
Well, he didn't. I believe if he did, you'd play that clip as well. The last thing he mentioned, which was during an ODM PG at Argyle Hotel, and people were asking about that matter, he said, who told you ODM will not field the candidate in 2027? So those that are now saying that in secret he told them, who told them? Because everything he said, he used to say to all of us in front of us. He was not a duplicitous leader. He did not say something in the morning and go and try something else at night. So when I raised those statements, it was out of the concern that certain people or certain quarters are trying to achieve something which doesn't necessarily stand for the creed of the ODM party, and perhaps could be taking advantage of a situation for their own gain.
What do you think they're trying to achieve with that?
Your guess is as good as mine. But you see, Yvonne, something that has happened in society, and this has happened in every society, whether it was in Europe or in Asia when empires fell, power was moved from the center to focusing on the needs of the people. Mm-hmm. So Kenya has, in my view, three issues that take 2 or 3 parts, maybe. The first is the unwillingness or the inability for the leaders to recognize that the desires of their people has changed. This is not 30 years ago. People want servant leadership. They don't want to be called somewhere and told this is what's happening. They need to be consulted in the process. And as far as anybody in ODM is concerned, they're used to that because Baba consulted everybody. The second issue is the manipulation of those in the lower classes to a point where they have to bargain between their survival and their dignity. And the third is the personalization of policy that if you don't agree with somebody, this or something, it's so tied to a person, the cult of personality, that it becomes a feud. It becomes something people want to say, you know. I've seen in the media myself as a headline very many times, all in feuds. It's not a personality war. It's not a private war. It's fighting for the soul and the creed of what the members of ODM believe in.
So what was Raila's last political wishes? What's that creed of ODM that according to you, in your conversations with him?
For the past 40 years, Raila has been a defender of social justice. He's fought for the upward social mobility of the people of Kenya. The D in ODM stands for democracy. People are allowed to speak. He once said that even though I may not agree with what you say, I will defend your right to say it. The M is movement. And if we've started a journey of bettering the lives of people, you cannot have people still living in pathetic conditions, living undignified lives, and you say you've made a deal and now we relax. No, the movement means we keep on moving until the lives of as many people as we can possibly impact are improved. So that is what Raila Odinga believed in.
All right, I'd like us to listen to something else you did speak about, and you know, I think we've seen you in Kibra lately, in Bondo and in Mombasa. Those have been some of the key moments we've seen you in. But you did talk about, you know, the origins of ODM and what you claim some people want to do with it. You talked about ODM not being born in the bedroom. I'd like us to listen.
ODM si chama kilichozaliwa kama siri. Nasikia kuna wengine ambao wanatembea nasi mchana lakini usiku wanajaribu kuuza hii chama. Haiwezekani. ODM was not born in a bedroom. It was not made in a bedroom. So its future will not be discussed as pillow talk. It has been the heartbeat of the Kenyan people for 20 years. ODM was born from protest. It was raised in resistance. And the people of ODM have time and time again bled, sweat, and shed tears for this country called Kenya. We are sorry that we don't always get it right. Oleni. But we will never be sorry for being inconvenient. They like to call us a party of goons. What we're doing is nation building. Nation building is untidy. Nation building is inconvenient. Nation building is uncomfortable. Nation building has left us in tears as ODM, as the People's Party, time and time again. But we, ODM, belong to the people, and we will continue growing because the young people of ODM have conviction.
So Winnie, you said ODM's future will not be discussed as pillow talk. Is it? And by whom?
Well, that's a figure of speech. The same way you have an accent, I have one. It's a figure of speech. What I was alluding to is secret talks or private talks. I feel the party has not done its or fulfilled its mandate in an open manner. For example, our party leader died. The party has not once come and addressed us as members to inform us our party leaders died. They've picked a new team. The party has not once come to address and tell us they have picked a new team. The next day we wake up and they're saying they're in new talks. They have not once come to consult us. So the figure of speech of seems to be a clique that does things in private and
You've had that bit of Winnie saying that a very important point that Winnie has raised there. When the Enigma died, the Orange Democratic Movement should have come together and said that, you know, guys, this is what has happened. It is very, very important. In fact, many of us overlooked that. This is what has happened, and we have buried Mzee now. What is the way forward? How do we move as the Orange Democratic Movement without Raila Odinga? Those are things that they ought to have asked themselves. That the Mzee has passed on. We as Orange Democratic Movement, we are at a loss. How do we move from here? But instead, they went into celebrations. They went. They were all over. I mean, they were all over. Wanakimbia huku na huku na huku na huku. I felt that was kind of confusing. I don't know whether you guys felt the same way. They were just a confused lot that didn't know exactly what to do. And Winnie is really addressing that very, very clearly. That they at no given time that did they sit down as the Orange Democratic Movement or leadership to come to terms and say that, okay, this is where we are. How do we move from here? What kind of messaging do we send our people? How do we strengthen our party from here? Those are conversations which are important, and they ought to have had them after the burial of Raila Odinga. Let's continue listening to Winnie.
Dictates to the party members is not the style of ODM. And so that's what I was alluding to.
All right. You say that has not been done in terms of formally addressing the party members. One of the first key decisions that was made right after Raila Odinga passed was the installation of Dr. Oburu Oginga as the party leader.
Yes.
Is that a decision that you think was done procedurally?
The decision of procedure is not up to Winnie Odinga. It's written in the ODM constitution. And this, I don't want this to be personalized on the matter of my uncle, as though this is a private matter that we're being discussed in public. I love my uncle loves me. I know under the screen you have that rolling screen that tells people what the speaker has said. Please, that should be the headline. Winnie loves her uncle and her uncle loves her. The matter is people misrepresenting themselves and moving in a manner that I feel is not respectful to the creeds of the party. I don't believe they've acted in a manner that was respectful to the wishes and creed of the former party leader. I also don't believe, I know for a fact, that they are not being respectful to the constitution of ODM. The constitution of ODM, not written by Winnie Odinga, says that no member of the Central Committee or the NEC is able to act on behalf of the party of ODM unless they are ratified by the NDC. That is not a personality matter on the party leader. That includes the chair, the current deputy chairs, and many people in that committee. Therefore, misrepresenting themselves. And at a time when they should have been informing the party, giving us a way forward, the party was mourning their leader. They forced a celebration during a mourning period. They went and did an NGC and misrepresented that they are the ones in charge, knowing very well they are not in charge until an NDC happens. They've gone further to begin talks. They are unable to begin talks. If there was somebody sneaky, they could actually go to court. They are not following the procedure, which to me shows a lack of good faith, a lack of goodwill, a lack of, they're unwilling to listen to dissenting voices. People question, people say anything. The custodian of our constitution is the SG. And all of a sudden, people are being told to leave. That is not ODM.
So Dr. Oburu Oginga should not be party leader. What would you suggest would be the remedy for that?
I think Dr. Oburu Oginga is a wonderful acting party leader in this transition period. We were all caught in a shock, and he's steadying the ship. This is not a very easy ship to steady, but he's weathering the storm, and he has said it very many times that he's acting transitionally and will make space for other young people. On the personality, my uncle has lived a life of determination, of strength, of loyalty. It would not be incumbent to me, or Winnie Odinga would be the last person that at his age of 82 years would allow his image or his legacy to be besmirched by political tug of war. What some may seem as perhaps antagonism is actually protection, in my view. And we are very happy with him being in the position that he is. And after seeing the manner of how some people are behaving, he's certainly the best person in that position.
Even though that was not procedural, as you've just said?
The procedure is still being done, as I've told you. They are still acting until the NDC is done. So the party must do the correct thing. He is the best in that seat right now.
So let me ask you this, because Dr. Oburu Oginga is your uncle. He's your father's elder brother. He's now the party leader. At what point during a rally, he'd said, in response to remarks similar to what you're making here today, he said, hayo mambo tutaongea nyumbani. Mm-hmm. Is there a family feud between Dr. Oburu Oginga?
No, absolutely
and yourself?
If there was a family feud, I really doubt he would discuss it. He would tell me that in public. He's a funny guy. His humor is different. And actually, all our humor is different. And mambo ya nyumbani tunaongea nyumbani. But mambo ya chama is not to be discussed at home. And when it comes to the party, any member of this family or this party or this society is free to discuss. And I believe Dr. Oburu will be the first person to defend my right to have different opinions.
So what's your relationship with him at the moment?
I love him. He's my only dad. I don't know why this has become national news. I've told you, and I've said it very many times, I love my uncle. Our family is tight. This is who we are. And we have absolutely no problems at all. You said we're having a family meeting. We've had several. And I feel that is just a private matter.
On the political front, he is leading a group or a section of ODM members who are calling for a pre-election coalition pact between ODM and UDA. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts around this proposal? Because it seems to have split the party down the middle.
The trouble with Kenya is always making things dichotomous. You have to understand how ODM came into this situation. We had some disputes after the election. Shortly after that, a year or two later, the young people of Kenya went to the streets. The matter became extremely elevated. My father, in his wisdom, tried to bring the two factions aside. The Gen Z faction, of course, said they were leaderless and were unwilling to have any sort of talks. So he went around meeting different people in society and came up with what he felt were the pertinent issues they were discussing. That is the 10-point agenda. Okay? That 10-point agenda was promulgated on the 26th of August, 2024. It has an expiry date, which is the 7th of March, 2026. In that document, he also says that this is not a coalition agreement. So he put that date so that at that point, we would review how far are we on the issue of social justice, on anti-corruption, and all the other 8 points. And then we review our terms based on that. And I feel as the fourth estate, you may be asking the wrong question, asking Winnie if she loves her uncle or not. The question you should be asking, on point number 1, where have we reached? On point 2, where have we reached? Because this was a social contract with the people of Kenya. Therefore, if you trash it and you have not completed it, then on what basis are you negotiating for the people of Kenya, of the people of ODM? On what? You promised them something. It cannot be trashed simply because Raila Odinga died. On what basis are you negotiating? That is the basis. The 10-point agenda is the basis and the beginning of negotiation, in my view.
I'd like us to listen once again to something you said in Kibra over the weekend. You were saying, hamani tishi, hamani babaishi. Can we listen to that first?
Vitisho vya peni mbili vitanifanya mimi nini? Amnitishi, amnibabaishi. Nasikia kuna watu wengine walisema hatuwezi kuja hapa. Hakuna siku baba aliwahi let anybody atoke kwenye hii chama. Wanaongea sana na tukiuliza maswali wanasema tutoke kwenye chama. Tukitoka watabaki na nani kwenye hii chama?
Nani anakutisha Winnie?
Anajijua. You see,
tuambie ni nani?
No, we've reached a point, and I have to speak this on behalf of the leaders of ODM, because I'm the only one who's able to say it. People are being intimidated in the party of ODM. People are being de-whipped simply for showing up on that stage with me. People I did not even invite. By being removed in committees, in county assemblies, in parliaments. We've reached a situation where you're being told to fill out forms on whether you support the regime of the day. If you do, then you'll be given TSC slots. If you don't, God knows what happens to you. There is full-on intimidation of members.
On what basis? Why is there intimidation?
I feel that those in the party that have a different agenda and they're hell-bent on achieving this agenda, no matter what it may take. And
who are those?
How much are you going to pay me?
I don't pay for interviews. Keep going.
I don't reveal all secrets. As much as I'm honest, I don't reveal all secrets. But I can't do it. I can't do it because it's going to put certain people in a lot of trouble, simply because of the level of intimidation that we're in. Now, Winnie Odinga in Kibra, there was a joke a cousin of mine said that when you see Winnie grabbing a mic, no, things are terrible. Winnie Odinga standing there in Kibra had not tried all other options of recourse with people of leadership. I have tried to speak to them, tried to tell them we cannot leave the people behind. And so when you see something happening that is going the wrong way, lazima utupe mchanga. You have to do what you have to do.
Who have you spoken to in the leadership of the party and told about your concerns?
Who do you know to be in the leadership of the party?
Well, there's several people. Who have you spoken to?
Several.
What was their response?
It's played out in the public.
You said, we will not leave this party which we fought for. Are you a member of the ODM party?
Yes, I'm a lifetime member.
Because that's been a question for some people.
It cannot be a question because I'm an elected member of parliament that represents the people of Kenya in a regional parliament nominated by my party, the ODM, the Orange Democratic Movement Party. It cannot be a question. It's obvious. One precedes the other. And as I stand there, I represent the people of Kenya. And we don't necessarily have constituencies. So my only constituency is the people of Kenya. And therefore, I do everything and move every way and make every decision in regard to the people of Kenya. If we go to an NDC and the people of the party say this is what they want, then I'll sleep well that night, knowing that the people have ratified the decision. But the most important channel or the largest, strongest organ of the party is the people of Kenya, and their voice is heard in the NDC. As it stands, the party is only utilizing 2 organs. We have several. So for me, ODM was not also an SPV. Some people have parties where they do what they want and throw it. This is a party for 20 years. So if a child was born 20 years, now they're in university. So somebody whose party started 2 years ago, those are kindergartners. Those are not the ones to tell us where we are. This party will have different opinions. It will have different choices, but this party belongs to the people. We have never moved a step without them. We will not begin now.
Have you tried to call for an NDC? Is this something you've discussed with the
Well, I was the
leaders of, I mean, like having these discussions with them first before?
Yes. But there's a process to an NDC.
Yeah.
For example, you don't just call an NDC to ratify leaders. That's just one agenda in an NDC. What are some of the reforms? What are some of the agendas you have for the people? We're going to an election next year. You also have to tell them what you've done and what you've not done and why you've not achieved it. But there are certain reforms that this party has to go through. This party has to be refreshed. This party has to move from being so centralized and send resources to the grassroots, help its grassroots offices grow, help those people recruit other members. This party cannot be restricted to one area of its chambers. It's got very many avenues. And therefore, for me, that is what I'll be seeing at the NDC, the reforms, the refreshment, and the restoration of the party ideals. That's what I think the NDC is about.
Is there an appetite for an NDC within the leadership of the party? Based on your conversation or observations with them? The procedure of course, calling for an NDC aside, but based on your conversations with them.
Yes. Well, certainly they've been going around rallying support for that. Mm-hmm. I don't know everybody's personal agenda, but certainly you've heard that we are at least speaking on the same page on that one, from the same script on that page.
Okay. I'd like us to talk about some of those, the members of the leadership, and indeed many who have talked about conversations they've had, last conversations they've had with your father. And some of them include the leadership. Maybe we can start by talking about some of those conversations, about some of these people in your father's life. Let's start by talking about Junet Mohammed. He has said he was close to your father. He was a confidant. What do you know about him and the relationship with your father based on your observations around Raila Odinga?
I'm not somebody who will rewrite history now. Junet was a close confidant of my father. And I think Junet will speak on Junet. And I was not party to every conversation my father had. What I'm saying is nobody was. And nobody knows what he wanted, including myself. Our only point of reference is things like this 10-point agenda. The only point of reference is his manifesto. The only point of reference is what he said in public. So his private conversations and relationships, again, like I told you earlier, I don't believe is appropriate for me to discuss about.
How about Gladys Wanga, who's the chair of the party as well? Many have spoken about, the direction of the party. What's your relationship with the party chair?
She is the governor of Homa Bay, a position that I believe is momentous, especially in that region, electing women to high office. I believe she believes she's correct, and I believe she's doing what she believes is correct for the party.
Do you believe that what she's doing is correct for the party?
I believe she's trying her best. This is not an easy thing to do. I believe she's trying her best.
You've had Winnie Odinga there, and the last question is that who are you talking to in the party? And when it reached a point where Okwaro pressed whether she's speaking to Gladys Wanga, you could see the hesitation, and she was not very, very clear on what she wanted to, or the kind of message that she wanted to portray out there. But what is clear is the 10-point agenda that the that the party stands for, and that is what Winnie and many others have been emphasizing. And so many other people also ignore that fact that indeed there is a 10-point agenda. And why do they really ignore the fact that there is the 10-point agenda that informed the broad-based alliance? I want to put for you the 10-point agenda that Raila Odinga was talking about, and perhaps you could have a sneak preview. Number one, the cost of living must come down. Reduce punitive taxes, fuel and food prices, and extrajudicial killings and abductions. I saw late yesterday baby Pendo were being lined up and things like that. That is number two. And these things are coming very late. It is now when the Orange Party are looking for people like baby Pendo to gather the evidence and things like that. These are things that they should have done a long, long time ago. Now, protect devolution, no rollbacks, strengthen counties, full funding. I think Ruto is doing something good about devolution. I think the funding has increased. Job create jobs, not asala rhetorics. I don't know whether they will achieve this. Fund SMEs and youth programs. They are doing something about funding the youths. There is some money that the government is giving out. Now, when it comes to number five, I think electoral justice and IBC reforms. I don't know whether that will ever be achieved, but we put an X there because nothing has been done there uh, by by UDA to show us clearly that they are working on electoral reforms and corruption. Yes, and corruption and the corruption theatrics. If the road to Singapore will be realized, then it can only be realized when the government is able to end corruption. And Singapore did exactly that. They dealt with each and every individual who was corrupt before they started the journey to Singapore. So, Mr. President, that one you need to work out. EACC needs to do something about the corruption that is happening in the country. Prosecute and recover stolen funds from the people of Kenya. Prosecute and recover those stolen funds. Let that stolen fund to be generated back into the economy, be plowed back, or be paid back to the people of Kenya because those are our taxes. Protect media freedom and dissent. No intimidation, arrest, or of critics. Have not seen any media personality being arrested lately, so I'm assuming that the government is doing something good about it. They have improved on that. They have improved on that. What else? Education and health reforms. Fund colleges, stabilize CBC and hospitals. There are still problems there. There are still problems in the education sector. There's still we have not still achieved free secondary education. That is something that we would love to see achieved. We don't want to see people are being lined up and being given checks in public for the camera that the MPs are doing a good job. That is not their work. Their work is legislation and not to pay checks to parents in public. That is not the work of a member of parliament. If your member of parliament is bragging that is issuing checks CDF ati anapeana vizuri, hiyo ni upuzi mtupu sana. Hiyo ni bure kabisa. I've not seen people like Ndini Njoro issuing checks as you Baba Basari and all that. You have a database of all the students who are in your constituency, the schools that are in your constituency. Issue the checks. Don't have this drama of aligning up parents to show us that you're doing a good job. Respect the opposition space. No co-opting. Structured engage. No co-opting. I think they're doing very poorly on that because William Ruto wants to reach out to each and every other political leader so that they can work. I don't know whether if everybody joins the government, then we'll have an opposition in the country. So that will clearly kill the democratic space, you know. And these are some of the agendas that and reforms that Raila Odinga really wanted, and now Winnie Odinga and others are really pressing hard that these are some of the things that must be achieved so that Orange Democratic Movement can enter into a meaningful engagement with UDA. I don't know whether you viewers at home there think that some of these things are practical. Do you think that some of these points can be achieved within the 1 year that is left? Do you think even the compensation of these victims that is rolling back up to 2007 can be achieved? So some of these things are not even practical uh, to say. And does the government have that kind of money? So we wait to see how they plan to compensate the victims. But for us here, we will keep on giving you the right information, giving you this is the agenda that the broad-based proponents are refusing to highlight. These are some of the issues that they don't want to talk about. All they want to talk about is that Ruto Raila alituacha kwa broad based, but aliwacha kwa broad based akisema hizi vitu zote lazima zikuwe implemented, ndio watu waweze kukuwa na majadiliano ama kukuwa na coalition ama kukuwa na arrangement ya busara between UDA and ODM. I know you all agree with me that some of these things are indeed they cannot achieve them very 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 soon, very 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 difficult. These agendas ni vitu zingine for me I feel that they might not be able to achieve them, because if you look at even the first one, ukiangalia tu hata hiyo ya kwanza peke yake tu, you just zero in to only one of them to the cost of living must come down. Oh, that is an ODM, that's a red line already. How will the government reduce punitive taxes, lower fuel and food prices, uh, review VAT on basic commodities? How will they achieve that? Very very fast. Any cooperation within how will they achieve that? They need to tell us maybe in the next financial year is when they can address just number one, the cost of living, and extrajudicial killings and abductions. Lately, hakuna abduction, but it is sad what we saw that happened to Gashagua. That kind of shooting that is not in the spirit of the 10-point agenda. Maybe the government needs to be informed that that is not within the spirit. And I've not seen the ODM fraternity coming out to condemn the same of what happened to Gachagua in that particular church. They didn't condemn it. So long as it's not happening to them, it is okay. Uh, um, how protecting devolution, that was another one. How do they protect devolution? They must protect devolution at all costs. I think the governors are doing a good job, and the Senate is also doing a good job on this one. There are no rollbacks, so the county funds are disbursements are done in good time to the counties. The only problem that the government is not addressing, or the Auditor General needs to address, is the wanton corruption that is happening in the county governments, that needs to be addressed so that the money that is being sent, our money that is being sent to the county government is working for the people. Jobs. Without industry, Bwana William Ruto, there's no Singapore. Without industry, there's no Singapore. Without industry, there is no Singapore. Without proper infrastructure, there is no Singapore. Yeah, in terms of roads, in terms of the radio line, they are doing a good job about it. The credits being given to the youth, that is also a plus. That is also a plus. Another thing I wanted to talk about here that probably many you will not hear it anywhere. You will only hear it on Africa. Here is where we dig into the real issues. You saw that Buddy and his team are really fighting very hard to sell some of these parastatals that are not doing so well, and or sell some shares in government shares in Safaricom so that they can finance infrastructure projects in government. Now, the airport is one of the issues that I feel has not been addressed properly. And perhaps if there's any government operative that is listening to this particular edition of Afrique, perhaps this is one thing that you should share with the government in the spirit of public, is it public private partnership, PPPs. Then I feel, this is my opinion, and it has been done elsewhere. It has worked in many countries. You don't need to spend a dime on the airport of the KIA. You only need to give it to a company to construct it for you, manage it for about 10, 20 years, and hand it back to you. You don't have to subject us to all these mathematics that Kinandidi Njoro are doing and John Mbadi and trying to justify. There are so many companies out there that can build the airport in a modern way, in in a cost effective way, not very expensive, in a cost effective way and modern, like the airports in Dubai, and manage it for you without trying to tell us that we must not sell the assets to finance some of these projects. If you are building a good road, there are many companies out there that can build toll stations. They build toll stations within those roads, manage it for some time, and sorry, these loans that we keep on talking about, that lazima tuchukue loan, lazima tufanye nini, and we don't want to buy, or we must finance the project. You don't really have to do that. You get a good company. They will borrow the money they will borrow the money, and they will build for you the airport and hand it over to you without you spending a dime. Even if you want to build a railway line, they will do it, and they will hand over the railway line to you. So long as they are going to manage recover their money within 10 years, 20 years, they will hand it over back to you. It's only that the middlemen in Kenya, they want to make a lot of money out of these projects. They don't want it to go free. They want to make money. Watu ni maongo tu, wamekaa tu wanangojea tutakula nini kwa hii contract, tutapata nini, what are we going to eat, tutafutie kitu tutakula hapa. So hii mambo ya kukula Kenya bana, wacheni kukula Kenya. If you want to achieve Singapore, tuwache mambo ya kutafuta pesa ya kukula na jasho ya wananchi, especially when it is tax money. These taxes, it's you and me who pays them. Sisi wote ndio tunalipa hizi ushuru, na tukilipa hizi ushuru tunasema kitu moja, ushuru tunalipa, na tukilipa tunataka kuona ya kuwa these services are provided for the people of Kenya. Yeah, we want to see that these services are provided for. I don't know what you feel back there at home. We have analyzed the explosive interview of Winnie Odinga. That was very, very interesting, very, very informative. And if you're watching us on X, please make sure that you subscribe to Afrique24. Go pale tu kwa Facebook useme AFRIQ24. The reason why I'm telling you to do this is because some of these things that I'm telling you out here is helping our politics. It is helping you in a way. People will make the right decision, choose the right leaders because they listened to some of these discussions. What we are discussing here, most of the time, you'll hear that the government is indeed implementing some of these things that we are saying. So usichoke, make sure that you share the link, make sure that if you have got a government operative that is out there listening, make sure that you tell them that there are companies out there, and if they don't have the companies that are ready, I can give them. I've got names of those companies. I've got names of companies that are ready to finance such things and manage your airport infrastructure for some time. Wako wengi sana. So it is just up to you to decide kama mnataka, and then they will be there. They will be there na watusaidie, and that is what most of us are looking for. Otherwise, guys, it has been nice being with you here this evening. It is a cold winter season where I am, and really tele niko na homa na nashukuru. Gypsy Corner, wherever you are, na kusalute. Alex, thank you for giving me company. Every other person who was watching, who was watching on the X Space, asante sana. Thank you for the subscription on Afrique. And those who are watching us on other platforms, social media, TikTok, and asante sana for being part of this wonderful discussion. I will join you later when there is anything that is arising that is of importance that we need to discuss. Otherwise, thank you very much. Na tunashukuru na tunawapenda, na please kuwa na wiki njema ama weekend njema, au sio?